we'll just start with say and spell your name.
Okay, Jan Swift, Jan, and then Swift. I'm Executive Director of Upper Lafayette Economic Development Foundation.
Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Baton Rouge and went to Broadmoor High and then LSU and LSU Law School and graduated in 1983, and then I moved here to Lafayette.
Yeah.
Thought it was a pit stop.
I was going to say, why Lafayette? Yeah.
Well, I was supposed to go to Dallas. I had I was probably engaged somewhat and wasn't ready for that. So I took a job here thinking it would just be maybe 6 months or a year. And here I am now, 34 years later.
Yeah.
So,
guess you're here. Yeah.
I'm here.
You're here
Yeah.
to stay. So what was it like growing up in Baton Rouge?
Baton Rouge was the best. LSU, I grew up wanting to be a Tiger. All my family loved LSU. I was the first person to graduate from college and was so proud to go to LSU. My brother was older and he ended up graduating later, but he helped me enroll, and I loved Baton Rouge. I loved that we had the state capitol, and I ended up lobbying. I worked in the Capitol as Deputy Secretary of State. I just had some things I never dreamed of happening come true. And so growing up in Louisiana at that point, I thought that Baton Rouge was the best place. But now that I live in Lafayette, I see the many, many benefits of what we have to offer. And it's actually, I think, a more family-friendly community and somewhat safer for a family, to be here. So I'm very happy in Acadiana.
So once you got to Lafayette, what compelled you to stay? I know you said it was family-oriented. But
Well, at the time, I was so young, I started dating my husband, John Swift. I met him through his father. Judge Bill Swift was a retired Court of Appeal judge, and I was clerking at the courthouse downtown, and his father was there handling these big murder cases that none of the local judges were handling. It was really kind of a hot potato with these high-profile murder cases. And so Judge Swift said, you should go out with my son. And so we went out and we dated for quite a while. But that's what kept me here. He was from Lake Charles and I was from Baton Rouge. And we found Lafayette was just a great spot to be in our state. And
right in the middle.
Right in the middle, a growing area that had a lot of opportunity.
So how is Lafayette different than Baton Rouge for
Well, post-Katrina, Baton Rouge has changed. I still love it for LSU and the Capitol. And I grew up there, like I said, and some of my friends are still there and their families. But you're asking what's better about...
What's different, yeah.
What's different?
Yeah, why?
I find that we didn't have the Mardi Gras and the festival atmosphere. It's a different type of place. Baton Rouge is larger, but yet it's really... the congestion has gotten to be out of control. And I find that while we have congestion here, Lafayette is still really relatively easy to get around. And there's just a lot to do. Any time of the year, you've got something going on. I mean, we just finished Mardi Gras. We've got, the solemn Lent season, but coming up after Easter will be the festival. We've just got a lot of fun things going on, a lot of bands and fun things that people can get involved in. So I just left. I want to put in a plug, if I can, for Cajun RV Resort. Cajun Palms RV Resort. They just opened up this huge,
I've heard,
family-friendly indoor. It's got an arcade. It's got go-karts. It's got a racetrack outside that's covered. We just have so many things here that are fun that other towns like Baton Rouge don't have. So.
Definitely.
It's just a fun place, and people are unique. They're entrepreneurial.
They are, I agree. So we'll talk about AOC just for a minute.
Sure,
Bear with me, but
That's what I thought our focus was today, so I was ready to plug you.
No, we want to talk about you. So tell me how you first got involved with AOC.
Ed Bowie. Ed, I met back in 2007. I was running for office, and he really encouraged me to get involved in the community after I made the runoff but didn't win the election. And so I was asked if I would run Upper Lafayette Economic Development Foundation. I'm a lawyer. I was practicing law. And so I was doing it part-time, and we had very little budget. And I knew that if I could have a TV show or be on TV saying Upper Lafayette and highlighting the good things that we have in the northern part of our parish, it would help the foundation grow. And Ed was very, very instrumental in encouraging me to get involved. And William McFarland is here with us, and he's been involved from the beginning, helping me make sure that my show runs. So we've been doing it now since 2009.
Okay,
Been on the show, on the air quite a few years, and we've been airing it twice a month for quite a while. So it's something I couldn't have done on my own. I didn't have a TV background, but with Ed's gentle encouragement and helping me find resources, I was empowered to pursue that path. And then when I would hit bumps in the road, I used to have volunteers, and sometimes I couldn't get people to follow up because everybody's busy. Ed would always help me make sure the show was on the air. So
excellent.
Yeah.
So tell me about your first impression of AOC.
It's always been like family. The same people, like I mentioned, Ed and William and others. You've had a stable cast of employees that seem to run this like they would run their own family business, And so I feel comfortable when I'm here. I feel that I can reach out and ask for help. And I don't know what it's like working at a TV station, but I would have to think this is a little bit more family friendly. And I've always felt not only encouraged to do a good job, but also encouraged to ask for help when I needed it. And when you don't have a lot of money, like I said, we were talking about other people who have shows on the air here. It really is a empowering thing to know that it's public funded, and it really does help the average person get their message out.
What surprised you most about working with AOC?
I was surprised that I could do it. I was shy when I was younger, and I guess because I felt so comfortable from the beginning, I just felt comfortable on the air. And I don't think I would have felt that if I wasn't kind of coddled at first and given a hand, but I feel very comfortable. And now I want to encourage others who might be listening to this to know that it's really fun. It's fun having a TV show because you get, like what you're doing with me, Nancy, you get to know the other person and you forget about yourself. You want to hear more about them. And I love it. I love it.
It is definitely a fun thing to do.
It is. Who would have known?
I know, same here. What's your dream project to work on or to produce?
When I have a dream, I would like to start a podcast with a TV show. Right now I film for Upper Lafayette, but my real dream is to talk about community-wide. And I don't know if I should be saying that, but I have a vision of wanting to talk particularly about women's issues, but that includes real people, people that have become entrepreneurs, people that have overcome challenges. My real dream is to highlight the everyday person, and they could live here in Acadiana or somewhere else, but I think I listen to podcasts all the time when I walk, when I'm in my car, and I find that I can grow. And I think that with your medium here, combining that with a podcast, I think I could really make a bigger difference. And so that's my dream. I haven't pursued it yet, but it's been cooking in my head.
I was going to say keep cooking because we have a podcast booth.
You do?
And we're about to launch our AOC Podcast Network.
I didn't know that.
With producers,
honestly,
hopefully like you.
Yeah, I really have a dream to do that because I learned so much by just really random people. I'll go on iTunes and look up things I'm interested in, and I have learned so much about health, medicine, people that have overcome odds, and even people like Tim Ferriss that everybody knows about, but he gets on these guests that are so empowering, and I'd love to do that.
Yeah, definitely. I've been listening to, just because I like a good kick in the booty, but Mike Rowe lately.
Oh, yeah.
Just because he's just kind of funny.
You like Alec Baldwin?
More or less.
I don't know. Here's the thing. It's his podcast. He's got a great podcast.
I was going to say.
He gets fun guests on because he knows everybody.
Well, that's the beauty of it, is that even though you know somebody, sometimes that kind of helps the podcast.
Right.
Pull out
There's all
even more.
kinds of good podcasts. But I find that if you can't sit down and watch TV, what a great thing.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
To continue learning. So.
Definitely. What are you looking forward to in 2017?
Oh, man. First of all, I think like a lot of others, I'm glad 2016 was over. That was a tough year last year, but I started the year on a good note, and I want to mention something that AOC filmed. It was the diversity panel that Anita Begnaud organized at City Des Arts. I was so honored to be a part of that discussion that I want to pursue some of that, some more community discussion about things that we have in common with people, even though we have diverse political backgrounds, diverse interests, diverse educational backgrounds. That's something I want to pursue this year. Upper Lafayette kind of gives me that platform, but I was really humbled to be a part of that panel. And my daughter Kelly, who's a senior in high school, went, and she was actually sitting right next to Skyra Rideau, who does a lot with city government, Project Front Yard, the Senior Pastoral Alliance. But she also met Vanessa Anseman, who's a candidate for the Third Circuit Court of Appeal. And it made me realize that we're lucky that we know how to mix it up. So I want this year to be about that. I don't like staying comfortable doing what I'm comfortable with. I like to reach out and experience new things and be challenged in what I think, so that I can question myself and question, do I know? You know, sometimes we think we know things, and you're exposed to people that may be a little bit smarter than you are.
That's me every day. On a side note, you just missed Skyra by 5 minutes.
I saw her walking out. We're buddies.
She's doing a podcast, so you can do it too. There you
now,
go.
what is that going to be on?
I'm not sure. I haven't heard anything yet, but yeah, she was working hard in the booth, so you can do it too.
Yeah, I will talk with you about that later.
Yeah, definitely.
Is that part of my membership?
Always. Everything's part of it. All right. What are you reading right now?
Boy, I just turned in 6 books at the public library. I go every week and get stacks of books. I just finished a book by Ben Utecht, who played, I'm going to mess up here, he maybe was with the Colts, and it was about concussions and the impact that, you know, football players experience. I had some friends when I was younger that played professional football, and I remember them always being sore and beat up after the games and their practices, but we didn't talk about their head injuries. And I'm really interested in some of that, but I just turned in his book, and gosh, I've got a stack of books at home, but I'm reading, I'm actually flipping through Tim Ferriss's book again, The 4-Hour Work Week, because I was telling, I have a young assistant that does contract work, and I said, I think you could be a virtual assistant around the world. She's a graphic design artist, and so I was encouraging her to look online, and you can really work from anywhere in the world.
Oh yeah.
And so I like to keep up with the latest trends and you know, what's available on the work front.
Yeah, definitely. Very cool. Whenever you were a child, what were your favorite books or movies or singers?
Biographies. I would read. I was really shy, and I would go to the library even back then and bring home stacks, and I would read every biography. My hero was Amelia Earhart, and my girls laugh at me, but I just loved that she was confident. You know, the first woman to fly a solo, and you know, I love stories like that. But I like to read about heroes in our history. I found that to be very inspirational.
Definitely. What about your favorite movies or singers? Or
favorite singers? Well, the Beatles. John Lennon's my favorite. Imagine is my favorite song of all time. But you know, I really like the 70s, 60s and 70s rock, but my daughter Kelly exposes me to all kinds of rap songs, and she's convinced me that that's really poetry. So I'm trying to stay open.
Some of it is.
She's yet to convince me.
But
I'm pretty open, but I really like, you know, growing up in the disco era, I still love Kool and the Gang, and when I walk and run, I'll have on pretty much, you know, disco inferno kind of music. So
too funny.
I know.
As a child, what did you want to be whenever you were growing up?
You know, it's funny that you asked that. I didn't really have dreams. We had family issues, and I didn't really picture myself in a future life. I knew that I wanted a good life, but I went to college and then law school because I knew education was the key to a successful life, whatever that was. And so I was shocked when I got into law school, and it wasn't fun. You know, that first year was tough, but I was hard-headed, and I knew, and there were very few women when I went. I started in 1980, and it opened up so many doors, and so that led to dreams that I created. But I didn't grow up dreaming like of a marriage or a certain career. I just wanted to read everything I could, and I was really kind of very shy to where I didn't feel confident. And one of my goals now in life is to encourage young women to know how special they are. If they can just see it, you have to really value yourself first before you can have others place that value on you. And I learned that as I aged. But I'd like to see young women that may not feel they have a lot to offer realize we all have a special gift.
Yeah, it's a great thing for young people to learn.
Yeah, it's because of how I felt. I don't want others to feel that.
Yeah. It's interesting that you chose law then.
I know.
'Cause it's such a strong
Well,
career.
I wasn't strong though. I liked books, like I told you, and I liked history. And so I ended up doing oil and gas and then real estate title.
Yeah.
So I was never in court. I clerked for a judge, but I never have tried a case.
Gotcha.
That might be something I try before I,
Yeah.
you know, move on down the highway. But I did office work. I got into lobbying. I helped pass laws. I helped make mortgage laws better around the country. But I wasn't one of those people that wanted to go to court like Perry Mason.
Yeah.
I was just, I didn't want to fight with people.
Yeah.
You have to have a, not a killer instinct, but you have to have that real competitive drive.
Yeah.
And I wanted to help real people with their family things. So
sounded like you just wanted to help empower people.
yeah, I did wills and successions. I did real estate and loved that because you're helping people get in their dream home, or you help entrepreneurs maybe finance their business or something. So it was really, I felt really gratified by that work and dealing with people at their level and not others can go to court. And my husband does that. He's really good. But he's got that competitive spark.
Gotcha. If you could have dinner with 5 famous people or people from your life, who would they be?
Oh boy, the first one, Aunt Pearl. She died in 1997, Pearl Guitreau. And if I could go back in time, or she could come forward, that'd be the first person I'd want to cook gumbo with, because she tried to teach me to cook for years, and I was so impatient. But I'd want to have dinner with her again. And both my parents have been gone for a long time. So I'd like to have a family dinner. And then they can be deceased, though? Does it matter?
This is your dinner.
I'd like to meet Amelia Earhart.
Of course.
And you know who I'd like to have dinner with? Donald Trump. And ask him, what are you thinking?
Yeah. There you go.
I'd love to meet him. I have friends that know him, and they tell me he's just like you see. What you see is really who he is. And I'd love to have that opportunity to meet the sitting president.
Definitely. Do you know what other questions you might ask, like Amelia Earhart?
Yeah, I would ask her, did you feel brave, or were you doing this as a woman, or just because it was the thing to do?
Yeah.
And I think her answer would be it was the thing to do.
Yeah.
But
she just had to do it.
She was so dashing and beautiful, you know, and just seemed so comfortable in her own skin. But I think she'd be a rock star if she was around today.
Okay. Yeah. Very cool. What's your superpower?
My superpower is seeing through people.
That's a good one to have.
Yeah. I feel like I can feel hearts, and it's how I make connections with people.
Yeah. Then it's appropriate that you like to interview people
Yeah,
too.
it is.
Get to know people.
Yeah, I never want to ambush people or make them feel bad, but I do feel like I can feel energy, and it's a gift that I cherish because everybody's got something good to offer, and yeah.
Very cool. Let's see. What inspires you?
I can tell you, after just leaving Cajun Palms RV Resort, I was inspired this morning by Lee Venable. He's a Northside High graduate, and I'm going to share this because it touched my heart. He had a large crowd there, his bankers, politicians, friends, family. But he stopped and thanked God for his ability to give family-friendly entertainment to people at an affordable price. But he really could have been patting himself on the back, talking about his success, because he built a large business. He came from a humble background, and he stopped and got choked up. And he said that he knew that God had given him the ability to give back. And that type of message really floors me because it was heartfelt and sincere.
Yeah.
So people of faith, not any religion, but spiritual people that honor what God's given them, it really, that to me is something to take pause with and stop and celebrate.
Definitely. What's one thing about you that few people know that you're willing to share with the camera?
I cherish alone time. I think I'm the happiest when I'm in my backyard with my puppies, you know, and my family, and just sitting out in the sun doing my Sudoku puzzles. And I'm addicted to Sudoku, and I do several puzzles a day. It kind of quiets my mind, and I love just being alone in nature. And so a lot of people like to be around lots of people, but while I enjoy being in public, it drains my battery at times, and I just love alone time, you know, especially with just quiet at home.
Same here. It's my guilty pleasure.
Yeah, and spring's coming, so it's going to be a nice time to take advantage of that.
Exactly. What achievement are you most proud of?
It was after law school, and I had been hired. I was a lobbyist, and I got hired to be Deputy Secretary of State at a very young age. And we were the last state, I'll be quick with this. Louisiana, as always, was the last state to adopt the Uniform Commercial Code. And so my job was to set it up in Louisiana. And I thought, I'll just copy what everybody else does. They've been doing it 40 years or more. I called all the states to see how they ran the Uniform Commercial Code. It's a mortgage filing system. So when you borrow money for anything but real estate, it's the Uniform Commercial Code. Every state had a different form, different procedures, and I raised my hand and I said, why are we calling this the Uniform Commercial Code? And so now there's one form, a national form. I got the Secretaries of State, and I work nationally with the Uniform Council on uniform laws for everything, and we work together to make it uniform, because I just couldn't believe that. I thought I was going to have an easy job, and it's those kind of people that really can rock the world. But I thought, I'm not going to do this and not make it right. And so at a very young age, I realized that one person can make a difference, and it's because I was hard-headed. You know? But I look back at that, and I think out of everything I've done, I love Upper Lafayette. I love different things I've done, but that was like moving a mountain, and it was one step at a time getting that accomplished. And I can look back and say, you know, it took a lot of people to get on board, but I'm really proud of that. And it's something nobody really knows.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. Very cool, actually. Just a couple more questions.
Yeah, I want to ask you questions.
Too funny. Let's see. What's your spirit animal and why?
Spirit animal. I'm not sure what that means. You mean like my favorite animal?
Or what do you most identify with? Or what would you be if you were an animal?
Oh, I'd be a dog.
Nice.
A dog, yeah.
Why
I
is
love
that?
dogs because they love unconditionally.
Yeah.
You know, if I could be a perfect person, I'd be non-judgmental. And when I look at my dogs, they love me, even when I'm having, you know, a day where my hair doesn't look good or somebody's insulting me. I can walk in the house, and my dogs are always so glad to see me. And I think they're the epitome of a wonderful spirit, you know.
That's true.
So for the cat people out there, I apologize, but
I'm a dog person.
I'd be a dog person, yeah. I'm a dog inside.
Ditto.
And, you know, I was thinking about my daughter, Kelly, that I've talked about. If you asked her, she'd be a horse, you know. And I think about that would be my second choice, a thoroughbred that could just run and carry great things.
Yeah,
you know.
definitely. You have one daughter?
I have two daughters. My oldest is Taylor. She'll be 25 in April. And then Kelly is 18. She just turned 18. So I'm very lucky to have two beautiful daughters.
Awesome. Definitely. How would you like to be remembered?
I want to be remembered for fully living my life. I think life is a gift. And I want to be remembered as somebody that lived and may have made some mistakes, but I gave it my best shot. I think every day is a gift from God, and I'm blessed. But I think we can squander our lives, you know, we can, I just don't want to do that. So I want to be remembered as somebody that seized life and gave it her best shot.
Definitely. What a great thing to teach your children also. Definitely. One final question. Describe yourself in 3 words.
Vulnerable, spirited, and thoughtful.
That's good words. Good, strong words. Still.
Thank you.
Definitely.
Thank you for this opportunity.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. This is great. Thank you.
My pleasure.